Hi, I'm Pastor Ike.
And I'm Christine Helms.
And this is Behind the Series.
So, Pastor Ike, we are starting a brand new sermon series called The Gospel. Do you mind telling me a little bit about that?
I'm excited about this new series. It's actually in many ways a book study through the book of Ephesians.
Yeah, that's super cool. What made you kind of pick Ephesians?
Well, Ephesians is one of those New Testament books written by the Apostle Paul. He's actually in prison in Rome when he writes this book. And if you've spent any time reading the New Testament, you know that a lot of the letters Paul writes, churches are having problems. And so he's trying to correct those issues, except for Ephesians. There's no apparent issues. And so what Paul does is he simply writes a letter to a general group of people in the city of Ephesus, which is in Asia Minor or present-day Turkey. One of the reasons I love Ephesians is how Paul outlines the letter. So on multiple occasions through the letter, he presents the gospel, the simplicity of the gospel. And remember, the gospel is about Jesus Christ, about what he has done and how his merits are ours through faith and faith alone. And then as he presents that gospel multiple times, he then talks about how that manifests itself, how it becomes a part of everyday life.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think this would be a really great book to really emphasize during the gospel. What is something that you kind of want our listeners or our congregants to really get out of from this sermon series?
Well, it seems to me, and I don't know if it's been your all's experience, but it seems to me that there's two kinds of people in life. There's rule followers and rule breakers. Now, you have two brothers, don't you?
I do, so I'm very familiar with the rule breakers. The portion of that. Oh yes, they're great.
And the same is true in the life of the church and in our neighborhoods and in the world. We have people who follow the rules and somehow that gets them something. And then we have people who just don't want to have anything to do with it, and they're the rule breakers. And in the midst of that comes the gospel. And the gospel is something that transforms life, not just for the rule breakers, like we oftentimes think about, but also for the rule followers. And what I'm hoping that as people come out of this series, two big things will happen. Number one, they'll have a clear understanding of what the gospel is, and they can communicate it to their friends and family. And the second thing, that they'll understand and fully grasp not only the eternal implications of receiving the gospel, but how being a person focused on Christ can change everyday life. It will change their families, it will change their neighborhoods, it will change their place of work, and most interestingly, it will change how they approach life every day.
Very cool.
I'm excited about this one.
I am excited. You're excited. You're getting me excited. And I hope you guys are excited too. We can't wait to see you guys the next few Sundays for the gospel.